Anthony Russo. Hello, sir. Tony Stark as Iron Man, Robert Downey Jr. Alias War Machine, Don Cheadle. Last but not least, Sharon Carter, alias Agent 13. Emily Vancamp. Well, thank you for being with us in Paris. It's good to have a group of superheroes and tough guys being here with us. Look at all this. Okay, you can shoot now, take some photos, and then we'll start the questions.
Paris sucks in the springtime. Nobody wants to be here.
Merci beaucoup à vous tous. Il est l'heure des questions. Voilà. Well, I'll start with really a question that addresses all of you. I mean, Captain America Civil War's plot certainly very much rely on a confrontation between very much loved superheroes. Did you feel, as director, as actors, some extra added pressure, knowing that the fan base could be somewhat shocked by the unexpected plot?
Well, yes. I mean, look, we knew the idea was very risible, and it could be very controversial with fans. But being diehard fans ourselves, my brother and I were very excited to tell this story. I think there's been a number of these movies now, and they've been great stories, but the prospect of placing the central conflict of one of these movies between these characters themselves that we've come to know over several films, these characters we've come to love, it felt like a very challenging place to go on a storytelling level, and therefore it's very exciting as well. So it's, high risk, high reward, hopefully, and that's why we went for this story in the end. I don't know if any of you guys.
They were challenging, but of course there's also pressure. So about you three, how did you get into that challenge or pressure?
I just think it's amazing that the Marvel, that they're continually coming up with new ways to tell these stories, and I just thought, as Anthony said, it would be very exciting to have a new way to approach these characters and a new way to tell the story. And people have been coming in saying, I thought the Civil War, there were like hundreds of Avengers fighting each other, hundreds of superheroes. I was like, hundreds? There's already too many in this damn movie. But yeah, I just thought it would be a new fun way to get at it. And of course, my character has some different challenges in this one. So I thought it was very interesting.
Emily, I saw you nodding as they were speaking. What about your take and your pressure?
Yeah, well, I mean, I got, in terms of the Avengers going at each other, I got to see it from more of an objective perspective because I'm not within that battle. And I have to say, it's really strange to watch as a fan of these movies. It's hard to see, these characters that you love so much at odds with each other. But it was really beautifully done. The Russo brothers do such an incredible job of balancing these films, and you really do struggle with which side you're on. I mean, I still, to this day, having seen the movie a couple times now, I still struggle with, with really strongly picking a team, as Emily. I mean, Sharon's a little bit different, but I just think that everyone did a great job with it, so it was really cool to be a part of it.
I mean, Robert Downey Jr., I mean, you seem to always have no pressure, yet maybe there was some.
I'm constipated right now. Even just remembering the pressure.
That was now. What about then?
Right, back then. Very loose. I mean, these are still movies. We're still, actors who show up, and there's always this faith, anyone can pitch you an idea. It's like, this time we're gonna, you're like, oh, okay. And it really has to do with the execution of it, and I think particularly these films really come down to, which is why I love the Russos so much, is this team of they're like surgeons. They're going like, we're gonna really watch this and really play with the levels and the interactions and the editing and what to highlight and what not to miss, and so it really is kind of like it's like great chefing, you know. So to me, I was like, if this is done correctly, this will be really good. And I'm just so pleased that the movie's been well received. There's no pressure when people like it.
Right. Question here. What? Here, sir. Yeah.
Hi. Like you were talking before about how many heroes are in this movie. Did it ever worry you about actually fitting these guys on screen? I mean, one of them actually gets quite big at one point. Just the sheer kind of scale of this movie and having to get all these superheroes on screen at one time. Did that ever worry you?
Well, that's why we had to shoot that sequence in IMAX. Yeah, no, we look. My brother and I are big fans of ensemble storytelling. It's sort of like it's been at the heart of almost everything we've done as filmmakers. So we love the ensemble. There's so many great characters, and and Marcus McFeely, our masters, the writers of this film have written more of the MCU than any other writers. So they know these characters as well or better than anybody. So figuring out, it was really a script issue. If it can work in the script, we can make it work in the movie. So it was very much the process that we go through, that Joe and I went through with Marcus and McFeely, is we would sort of step through the movie at various points from every single character's point of view. So we would just filter the entire experience of the film from all of these characters' point of view up here and the other characters in the film as well. So it's cool. Like, we're big fans of, we like movies that you can chew on. We like movies that you can revisit multiple times. It's how we like to enjoy movies ourselves. So I think when you have a dense ensemble like this, it provides for repeated viewings and looking at the movie in different ways on each pass. So it's part of the joy and the pleasure of the film for us.
Question ici.
Question for Robert Downey Jr. Hello. You're supposed to be the one who knows the best Tony Stark now, and how is it to play a character movie to movie with different people who are writing scripts, different directors? Do you sometimes say Tony would not say this or not do?
I tried that at home.
Does it work?
No. I think I'm probably one of the 3 or 5 best Tony Starks that have been in the movies. It's interesting too. I was kind of getting caught up in what Anthony was saying, because I want to talk to Emily and say, so is there a romance blossoming between you and the Captain America? And people ask me those questions. I go, I don't know. What do you? I'm not dictating to the board at Marvel what my character will and won't do. But there's a sensitivity and there's this kind of interplay at this point where you don't really have to say, oh, I wouldn't do that, because most of the time it's being thought of on your behalf. Right, Don?
Correct. Correct.
Question here.
Oui, c'est une question pour les deux héros, super-héros. Le film pose la question de la suprématie des héros les uns par rapport aux autres. Est-ce que vous avez l'un et l'autre le sentiment que les super-héros peuvent être mortels? Et en ce qui concerne votre personnage, Robert Downey, est-ce que vous pensez que s'il y a suprématie, c'est le vôtre qui est tout en haut de l'échelle, qui est le meilleur, le plus fort?
All right, this is a two-part question. The first question is for you, Don Cheadle. I mean, obviously, from what we saw in the trailer anyway, we thought superheroes could actually die.
Yeah.
Do you think superheroes are actually mortals?
Well, Rhodey's pretty much a superhero when he's in that suit, but outside of that suit, he's just a man. And as far as I know, men can die.
That's a pretty good statement, yes.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah,
Particularly if they forget the anniversary.
Exactly.
Well, you're still alive, so that's okay, Robert Downey Jr. Well, actually, the second part of the question was yours. If actually superheroes can die, do you feel that you are on the top of the superhero scale and you're the best on the first one?
It's like anything. You stick around and you realize that you're kind of being supported by everything and everyone around you. So I would say 5 or 7 years ago, I was on a complete narcissistic trip, and then you keep seeing this new fresh talent come in, and it's kind of where the eyes on the screen go, because it's like, yeah, we know what he's going to do. Who are these new people? What's she up to? You know, what's going to... Whatever. August 27th. It's the anniversary, in case you're wondering.
All right. Well, actually, talking about superpowers, I mean, Emily, you don't have really a superpower, yet you seem to have an incredible power about Captain America. What's your power like on
She's got her
him?
female power, that's all she needs.
Yes.
Come on.
The superest power.
The superest power of all. Take note, people. She's worked really hard to get to where she's at, and that includes, being kind of a badass, I think. But no, there's no actual superpowers that I know of, that I've read in the comic book. So,
But I'll ask you then the question that Robert was asking earlier. I mean, is there a romance here going on?
I mean, in the history of the comic books, there's actually a very, very interesting, complicated romance between the two of them. I don't know how much. You never know how much of it we're going to explore. That's an Anthony question. I don't make any assumptions within this universe, but it's definitely something that was fun to explore in this film, and to me it seems like we're just sort of scratching the surface, But I don't know. We'll see.
Question.
Oui, bonjour. J'avais une question dans le film, donc on voit des hommes et des femmes super perfectionnés, mais dans la réalité aujourd'hui on peut commencer à voir des hommes augmentés, notamment la scène où War Machine est blessé et recommence à marcher, fait penser vraiment à ce qui se passe aujourd'hui dans la réalité. Comment est-ce qu'ils appréhendent ces progrès et le fait que par exemple certains soldats américains aujourd'hui soient équipés d'armures qui ressemblent à celle d'Iron Man? Est-ce que c'est aussi une forme de concurrence pour eux? Comment est-ce qu'ils...
All right. Well, it's a several-part question. I mean, obviously, we're talking about the supremacy of certain men, women, or superheroes, and there's very much talk about enhanced men and women, which is part of what your movie is about. I mean, do you feel that... how do you stand today about the fact that we're more and more trying to become enhanced human beings? What's your stand on that? First part of the question. Oh yeah.
Smartest person answer.
All questions sound better in French. The answer in English is not going to satisfy you.
Look, I think part of the fun of these movies is you try to be just one step ahead of where the real technology is in the world. That's part of the fun of these movies, is that there's something that feels almost tangible about what's happening in them. It's part of the thrill. So I don't know. I think yes, we're in a world where science is evolving at a very fast pace, and we're in a science fiction world in this movie that's sort of playing with the experience we're all going through in reality. So beyond that, I don't know.
What do you think? I mean, part of the question was also that today US soldiers, the army, is using very much the type of equipment that you're actually showing in your movies.
Yes.
Okay.
I'm so sorry for that question.
No. I just wish we had better answers. It's a great question.
I'm gonna throw up.
Not yet. It's not the anniversary day yet, remember? All right. So, next question here.
Yeah, question to Robert about the mood of Tony Stark in this movie. How would you explain that he's more inclined to respect authority than helping his friend? Do you think he's in lack of love?
Well, I think what makes for good partnerships, if you just step back from how it winds up on screen, it starts with a conversation, like, is it more interesting to have the roles reversed a little bit, where Tony's saying, hold on now, because Tony was telling senators to kiss his ass a couple movies back and they wouldn't have anything to do with the government, so, and then also for Cap, having him kind of be a little bit rogue and making these decisions based on things that you could say go against his own principle. I think just showing that, taking these characters that you could say are largely two-dimensional and infusing them with a real kind of character defects and moral dilemmas and all that stuff. It just makes it, I think if we had done it the other way, the film would be less interesting. So sometimes the reason we can justify, why did Tony do that? Because it made the film more interesting.
Question here.
Oui, bonjour et bravo pour votre travail à tous. Je travaille pour une radio, Chérie FM, essentiellement destinée pour les femmes. Alors on va faire un peu d'imagination. Imaginez que je suis Stéphanie, j'ai 35-40 ans. Je connais les super-héros, Captain America, Batman, mais Marvel, ça me parle pas. Voilà, j'ai jamais vu de saga, je suis pas fan, mais j'aimerais y aller parce que ça donne envie, parce que c'est spectaculaire, parce que voilà. Est-ce que vous pouvez m'expliquer ce qu'est l'univers Marvel et de quoi ça parle à celles et ceux qui ne connaissent pas?
All right.
That wasn't just like, what's your favorite color, right?
What's your favorite color, actually, done? All right, now we know. Wow, relief, what a relief. No, actually, this man is journalist for a radio called Chérie FM, which addresses women mostly. So the question is, he is in reality a she, a Stephanie, roughly 35-year-old, and she has not a clue about what the Marvel Universe is about. So in your own words, what would you tell Stephanie to make her want to go into the Marvel world? First you. You'll all have to answer that, remember. Think.
Is that our job? Can't you help us with that? I mean, look, the one thing that's really important with these movies is, as they progress, they seem to become more and more popular. So you see more and more audiences coming to them. So you necessarily know that there are going to be people in the movie theater who haven't seen the previous movies. So it's very important for us to be able to make each movie for fresh eyes. It's not just for fans. It's not just for people who've been following the series movie to movie. You have to be able to walk into the movie theater and sit down and enjoy the movie beginning to end without any previous knowledge. It's a difficult balance to walk, but it's a really